As a wise man once said, another one bites the dust. In this beautiful winter wonderland, it's time for me to do yet another farewell. The amazing Audi RS7 Performance is the victim. One of the absolute best modern Audis, and some would even argue that it is the greatest four-ringed machine of all time. And yup, it's also getting discontinued. Another very questionable decision by Audi, who said that less variants of models is what they are going to aim for. That means the A6 and A7 have been merged to the A6, so the new C9, including the RS6, will only be available in sedan and Avant forms. Which results in the sleek roofline, the RS7 Sportback is added to one of the many popular Audis discontinued in the last 3 years. As a photo and videographer for the brand for over 20 years, as well as a collector of some very unique Audis myself, I've been quite transparent about my thoughts over Audi's latest decisions. I've gathered it all in the viral over 1 hour movie Speak Up for Audi, which has got over 2 million views in the few months as we speak. Let me start off by saying that this RS7 video was shot in the Tatra mountains on some of the coldest and most snowy days I've ever filmed in. Completely unprepared with the choice of my clothing, this one was really tough. Having to fight constant heavy snowfall and temperatures to -20 degrees Celsius. Also, I couldn't wait the snowstorm out. I had the car for 2 days, so I had to do my best with what the Mother Nature gave me. I had no other choice. With shoes filled with cold snow and jeans stained all over the place, I was on a mission. I was going to do a proper farewell to this car, and I made it through with the passion I have for the four rings. So, let us do this. The Audi RS7 has been around since 2013 and it is on its second generation. The first one was called the C7 and a facelift of that came 2 years later named C7.5. The second generation, being this one here, is called the C8 and has been out since 2019 but got the performance package as late as 2023. The interesting thing is that the RS7 C8 is the only Audi in the last decades that never got a facelift, even after 7 years now. That's quite remarkable and shows Audi's extreme cost savings in the past years. The RS7 has always been a very loved and respected car, not only by Audi owners and fans, but also automotive enthusiasts in general. This right here is the latest 2025 Audi RS7 Sportback Performance, spec'd in the lovely Goodwood green color together with a stunning Audi exclusive interior. Unfortunately, there was no clear sunlight the 2 days I filmed it, so you couldn't really see the proper shine of this so loved exterior color. The RS7 Performance is powered by a well-known 4-liter twin-turbo V8 that puts out 630 horses and 850 Nm of torque. That makes it the most powerful RS7 ever. You know when an automaker saves the best for last on a platform's life cycle? This is exactly the case here. We had to wait for a long time, but Audi really nearly perfected it here. Okay, let's get something straight out of the way. This C8 RS7 Performance is drop dead gorgeous. Not only the spec of this particular car, but overall its design. I will never forget when I met Mark Lichte, the designer of it, in 2018 in the LA Motor Show, and he told me, "Just wait until you see the new RS7. You will be blown away. It's going to be more muscular and have a stance like never before." Well, he wasn't lying. It was also from a time when he had his hands quite free to design some beautiful machines, and not what became later on when he had to please the guys in the suits and design what they wanted. I know that many people still prefer the C7 generation, and I understand that because I love it as well. I actually had the C7.5 RS7 Performance also for a shoot right here in the Tatra mountains, just when it came out in 2016. It's still today one of the most memorable shoots I've had so far because I was basically smiling every second of it as it was such an awesome car. Its timeless design makes it look super modern even by today's standards. What the C7 also still has over the C8 is the overall quality, the attention to details, and the way it sounds. But the C8 is not far behind. It still stands its ground proudly and is still a proper Audi. Let's stop for a moment and listen. Now tell me, doesn't it sound awesome? There are a few setbacks of a car being this modern. Regulations. Every time you start up this RS7, the first thing you need to do is turn off all the annoying systems, such as the side lane assist and the speed warning. You have to do that over and over again every single time you start the car. One thing that the C7 also never had was the wide body such as the RS6. That was fixed with the C8 generation. The stance of this machine is absolutely incredible. It turns heads everywhere. And it hits me in the field specifically looking at it. It looks so much like a proper Audi. Not like the new Audis of today that don't look or feel like proper Audis anymore. Headlights are so important. It's been Audi's signature for decades. The C8 has one of the most beautiful ones, in my opinion. Not like the abomination of split headlights in the new cars of today. Zero elegance, and as I have said before, looks like a freak monster from a scary movie. The taillights are still good looking. The A7 C8 was one of the first cars to have the light bar, so it's forgiven. Cause the whole automotive industry seems to be lost for new ideas and every new car has that darn light bar at the rear. Nevertheless, nobody can complain about those massive 22-inch performance wheels with those 17-inch ceramic brakes. Perfection, if you ask me. The proper Audi badging in the front and rear is something so important. In the recent year, the font of the badging was changed to one of the most unemotional and boring fonts there is. I still can't understand how that passed through all the board meetings. And let's not even talk about the lack of the front badge on the latest S and RS models. That caused the biggest upset among Audi owners and fans ever. Now it's coming back. Yay, you think? They really listened, you think? Well, half. Because now you only get an S and RS on the front of the cars. If you could see the steam coming out of my ears as I write this. Such a simple yet so important thing, and still they can't get it right. Some people will be happy and excited that the RS6 Sedan returns in the C9 generation. It's been a while since the C6 RS6 Sedan was out. Audi stopped making the sedan when the RS7 Sportback was introduced. As I previously said, Audi is cutting down on their model variation a lot, so the Sportback is no more. Many people will miss it. I know for sure that I will. Before we continue this video, let's have a few more listens to it. Now let's talk about one of its best assets, and it's how it drives. The RS7 dances around every corner with a 40-60 power ratio, but when slippage occurs, it can send up to 85% of its power to the rear wheels. It also glues itself to every curve with a proper Quattro drivetrain and not the extremely annoying front-wheel drive-based Quattro Ultra on the newer models. I should make a whole film about that itself. As you can see here, I was dealing with some crazy winter weather, but this beauty was a proper winter warrior. Nothing could stop it. I also want to talk about the sound. As I have been driving so many RS6 and RS7s in its all generations through my life, when I drove the C8 RS7 for the first time in 2019, I was disappointed. I was disappointed of how it sounded, especially coming from the C7.5 and owning an RS6 from that generation. One of its best assets was always the sound. The C8 sounded muted with all those new emission regulations and of course the extremely annoying soft limiter. I will never forgive Audi for putting a soft limiter on the C8 RS6 and 7. It kills the vibe and emotion so much. But now to the positive thing about the sound. Especially when I put some DJI microphones on the car, I really wanted you to experience it. This is the best a C8 has ever sounded to me. It even gives you those proper burbles up and down shift or release of the throttle. It makes you feel and smile. Audis have always been about the soul of the car. That's why I have loved the 4-rings for 3 decades, and that's why I have collected some of their best cars. 'Cause they make me feel. I don't want to be driven around in a microwave with 0 emotions and 1,000 screens. I'm sure that the extreme and cold weather did its thing here, but the RS7 Performance sure does sound good. The interior of this RS7 feels like a proper Audi interior. Beautiful design, lovely ergonomics, and easy to use user interface. Especially in this unique Audi exclusive spec. The two-tone color concept works so well here, and those seats are gorgeous. It made me so happy to jump into this straight after I had the new Q3 for a shoot. I will make a whole separate film of how that experience was. And it won't be pretty, I can tell you now. So it's really mixed emotions that I have sitting in this lovely interior. I feel pride and happiness that it is so good and so Audi, and at the same time I feel devastation and think to myself, how could we ruin this all? It was so good. The RS7 has a proper and lovely steering wheel. It looks right, feels right, and has lovely and easy to use proper buttons. The decision makers at Audi completely missed out on the importance of that when they designed a new one that we can see in their latest cars. It's the first thing you see when you enter. Looking at this one here, I feel the quality, the pride, and I look at the 4 rings in the lovely brushed aluminum that screams identity. The only thing I feel driving the new cars and staring at that steering wheel is anger and disbelief. The interior of the C8 RS7, despite the AC controls on a screen, works. Simply because it's right there next to your hand on the lovely gear shifter. You don't have to remove your attention from the road to reach a skateboard screen with millions of icons looking the same like on the new cars. I don't think that the people that made these decisions actually have driven thousands and thousands of miles in the cars to understand how dangerous and uncomfortable that is. The new updated look on the virtual cockpit in this RS7 with the tachometer in the middle is amazing. It goes back to the one a few years ago that was so loved. Sure, it's missing a full model definition in there, but that's the only thing I can really complain about. It's nowhere near the disaster of the virtual cockpit on the newer cars. Remember, Audi, to move forward you need to look back. You feel so good when you enter a car that looks as good inside as it does on the outside. That's Audi's history. Nobody could say anything bad about an Audi interior a few years ago, and you are reminded of that right here. I heard a lovely quote from an important Audi employee just a few days ago. The future will be overtaken by the past. Let that sink in for a moment. The Audi RS7 Performance has so many things to go for. Amazing proper Audi looks that makes you stare at it and always turn around after you lock it. It makes you have that I want feeling when it passes you by on the street. It has that lovely interior that makes you want to get in over and over again and spend as much time as possible in this office. And when you are driving it, it sends an emotion from your ears to your smile, all the way to every cell of your body, straight to your heart and soul. It has the quality of an Audi, which reminds me of what made me love the brand for now over 3 decades. But it also leaves me with so much uncertainty. How did it go so wrong from here? How could they forget what was so important? And most of all, how do you decide to discontinue a car that has been so loved? Another one gone, and another one gone, another one bites the dust. I really hope that they get it all together before it's completely too late. Thank you for watching.